Welcome to our program on Cardiac Radio.
Hello, dear friends, and welcome to our daily prayer service on Cardiac Radio. We're at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're in California, 3 p.m. We stop all of our activities, our busy mind, any emotional emotions that we don't need for the moment. We release, and instead we connect with God. We say hello to Jesus, our guide and model, and the spirits on high, our spirit mentors, the mentors of Cardiac Radio, the mentors of the daily prayers group. And as we connect, we receive so many blessings, so much light and so much love that in turn we can share with you, dear friends, with our beloved brothers and sisters. And today we're turning to a book that is called Endearing Gems from Francisco Candido Xavier. And the message is entitled Illuminating Path. It was written by Andre Luis through Chico Xavier. Without good ways, you will live without the trust of others. Without a fortress, you will succumb as you face the first obstacle on the road. Without positive faith, you will wander without direction. Without dedicating yourself to goodness, you will risk terrible hardening of your heart. Without noble examples, you will become useless to the world. Without constructive work, the tedium will deplete your energy. Without your own effort, you will never reach the doors to the higher realms. Without hope, your terrestrial nights will be without light. Without understanding, your way through the shadows will be painful. Without a spirit of renouncement, you won't help illuminate the paths of others. What a beautiful message. It is complete as it stands right before us. Let us, however, add a few words to it. Andre Luis starts off by saying, without good ways, you will live without the trust of others. We know if we don't do the good, people may not have trust in us. People may not want to be around us. This is something that Emmanuel recommends to us highly in chapter 10 of Thought and Life, which is entitled Understanding. And there he asks us to always seek goodness, to always feel goodness, to always visualize goodness, and to always mold it with all the resources we have at hand, which of course is a 24/7 job. Because for us to always focus on the good, to always feel it, visualize it, seek it, and mold it, there is no space for anything else. And Andre Luis echoes this, because only this way we will be able to instill trust in our brothers and sisters, our fellow human beings. Then he continues to say, without a fortress, you will succumb as you face the first obstacle on the road. What does he mean by we need a fortress? Do we need to build walls around us, wall ourselves off? We don't think so. When we go to Genesis chapter 14, which is entitled The Fluids, item 21, Allan Kardec helps us understand what this fortress might be. And it lies in the quality of our perispirit. There he says that we can avoid the influence of the evil spirits who swarm around us and intrude everywhere without being seen. How can we avoid how can we avoid the evil spirits to enter us, to have an impact on us? Well, the answer lies in our perispirit, as good fluids, high quality fluids always repel lower vibrational fluids. So for us to repel these evil influences, to build this fortress, so to speak, he says the perispirit is therefore the armor that must be given the best possible caliber. The fortress is our own fluidic body, our perispirit. The quality of the perispirit results on the qualities of the soul. It is necessary to work on improving it, because it is the soul's imperfections that attract evil spirits. So, as long as we focus on seeking goodness, on feeling goodness, on visualizing goodness and molding goodness, as long as we're focused on our inner transformation, we will be boosting, so to speak, our perispirit, and that will be our fortress. That will be the protection that we require from evil influences, so that the obstacles on the road won't have an impact on us. And then André Louis says, without positive faith, you will wander without direction. Here we are reminded of Thought and Life again. Beautiful book by Emmanuel. He dedicates a whole chapter, namely chapter 6, to faith. And he tells us that without faith, without a positive attitude towards life, we're really not capable of achieving much. We cannot achieve anything without a positive attitude of confidence. And he says that faith we find in all beings, and it vibrates in all things. Every kind of activity in life develops in one way or another by faith. And he ties it back into the goodness. He says, consequently, we must have trust in the good. We must find the good. We must tirelessly seek goodness and waste no time with evil, which will all boost our faith. André Louis is not finished. Then he says, without dedicating yourself to goodness, you will risk terrible hardening of your heart. Again, the goodness. The focus of our vision, our mind, our emotions on the goodness in us and others. Of course, we work on our own goodness, but we make sure we see it in the outside world, because there's no one 100% evil. There is no one situation 100% evil. There's goodness in everything and everybody. If we don't do it, André Louis says, we will be ending up with a hardened heart. When we go to heaven and hell, in the last part, where Allan Kardec gifts us with so many spirits who report back from the spirit world, there's one whole category he dedicates to the hardened spirits. If we go back to that part of heaven and hell, we learn what terrible impact a hardened heart has on our lives and on our life after life. Then André Louis says, without noble examples, you will become useless in the world. And of course, we are so grateful, because we have Jesus, our guide and model, our most perfect, most noble guide and model. So it is our work to focus on Jesus, to studying him, to understanding what he brought, the gifts he brought to us on this planet, not only through his teachings and his healings, but just simply by his nonverbal lessons. He gave us the gift to watch the tree, to judge the tree by its fruit. So let us be like Jesus, more noble. Let us focus on producing charitable, good fruit that will be nourishing our brothers and sisters. Then André Louis says, without constructive work, the tedium will deplete your energy. Work always, Abigail said to Paul. What is the definition of work, of labor? It's in the Spirit's book. The spirits on high help us to understand what labor, what work is. And they say it's any useful activity. Well, why useful? Useful just for us? No. We are invited, we are urged to work for the good of others, to be useful not just for our own selves, but also for our brothers and sisters. Then he says, without hope, your terrestrial nights will be without light. Hope is an integral part for us to navigate the vicissitudes of life. When Paul got down on himself, because we know he didn't make such wise choices at the beginning of his life when his name was Saul, and he would at times look back and become very sad about his own actions. He didn't feel very worthy. Abigail, his betrothed, appeared in spirit and says, Paul, always have hope. Hope always. She continued to say, love everything and everybody. Also, she said, always work. There's the work again. Always work. And lastly, she says, forget all offenses and forgive everyone's trespasses against you. So this is the recipe for success for us as well. So hope is absolutely vital for the success of our reincarnation. Then André Louis says, without understanding, your way through the shadows will be painful. Once again, we are reminded of Thought in Life, chapter 10, that is wholly dedicated to understanding, where Emmanuel defines understanding for us. He says understanding is the foundation of our inner renewal. It's the foundation. So if we're working on our inner transformation, if we're working on our goodness, so to speak, if we're working on getting to know ourselves better, we need to keep in mind that the foundation for becoming a more loving and kind brother or sister on this planet, it is understanding. Understanding breeds fraternity. It is the foundation for our inner renewal and as a result for the renewal of our dear planet. So let us practice more understanding. Even those people that we don't even know, we just pick up bits and pieces in the news, on social media, and we form harsh judgments at times. It may be politicians as well. But do we truly practice understanding in those moments? We're invited to revisit where we stand in our practice, our daily practice of understanding our brothers and sisters better. Then André Louis says, without a spirit of renouncement, you won't help illuminate the paths of others. It is charity. He ends this beautiful gem of a message by pointing us in the direction of charity, because understanding is part of that. But it's in the Spirit's book, where the spirits on high help us understand moral charity. And they say goodwill towards all. And there is the goodness again that we've talked about several times already in this message by André Louis. It's goodwill towards all, which doesn't make any exceptions. Furthermore, the definition asks for forgiveness, just like what Abigail recommended to Paul, forgiving everyone's trespasses, because we know we need lots of forgiveness. We have trespassed for millennia other people. And lastly, we need to be indulgent towards others' imperfections. Not so much towards our own, that comes natural, but let us focus on the imperfection of others with indulgence, with forgiveness, with goodwill. By practicing charity, we will be able to illuminate the paths of others. Dear friends, with so much gratitude in our hearts, we would like to pray, to turn to prayer. And if you can, you are invited to close your eyes, to feel your feet firmly on the ground, to say hello to Mother Earth, and envisioning this gigantic mirror in front of our souls that's nice and sparkly clean, turned up towards God, towards Jesus, towards on high, so we can reflect back God's love and light better into us, so we can be this illuminating aspect on planet Earth. Dear God, beloved Jesus, dearest mentors, and of course, dear Chico Xavier and dear Andre Louise, dear Manuel, we are so immensely grateful for this beautiful gem of a message today, helping us redirect and recalibrate ourselves with your goodness, with your love, with your indulgence, with your patience, and with your forgiveness with us. We know we receive these beautiful gifts from you every second of each day. And we also know that we sometimes forget to not only hold on to these beautiful gifts from you, but to make sure we practice them in our connection and relationships with others, with our brothers and sisters. We know so well that Jesus asked us to love him as much as our brothers and sisters, to love God above all else, and our brothers and sisters just like ourselves. So we are asked to love equally, to love God, to love Jesus, to love ourselves, but also love our brothers and sisters. And we know we can't love God if we don't love our brothers and sisters, and vice versa. Because God's spark lives in all of us. And we're all children of the same beautiful God that you are. We're so grateful for all the guidance and help we receive from all the mentors on high. We're grateful for Kardec Radio to allow us to get together and tune in communally worldwide. What a gift. Jesus told us that if where there is more than two in his name that gather, there he shall be. And we feel you, Jesus. We feel you right next to us. Your arms around our shoulders in a paternal, fraternal gesture, helping us to feel strong, confident, hopeful, always with our hearts open towards our fellow citizens, and always looking out to be of service. We know we can be of service in a material way, but we certainly won't forget the moral charity that Jesus pointed out to us, which is goodwill, indulgence, and forgiveness. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts for giving us yet another day to practice the good. And with this, we humbly ask for permission to close today's prayer gathering on Kardec Radio. And so be it, dear friends. Thank you so much for joining. Let me see who is here. Yes, there's Nora, dear friend. Thank you so much for joining. And Abby Share, thank you so much for joining. John LaRosa. And there's Robbie. How beautiful we have tolerance to show is how well we are at understanding. Yes, tolerance is the child of understanding, right? They work together. Very important. Thank you, dear friends, for joining. Big hug. And so, God willing, there will be another prayer gathering next week, and we will be back next week, same time, same place. God bless you.